like to call the first meeting of 2026 to order. Do we have the opening statement read, please?
As we gather today on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8 Nations to conduct the business of the District of Chetwynd, we do so knowing that we are privileged to serve the citizens of this community, and we shall endeavor to conduct our business in our best interests. Thank you.
Okay, prior to that, Council, if you don't mind to continue to stand, and we'll take a few moments to reflect on what we've lost in the young people that have lost their lives, and we just take that moment silence to pray and to just think of what we've lost. So we will take that moment now. Thank you very much. With the loss of young lives, we all have our thoughts and prayers for stuff that happens beyond our control. And sometimes it is under our control on the things that we do in our lives. So we just reflect on some of that stuff that happens with our young people to give them the best advice that we can at this time. Thank you, Council and staff, and to the public, thank you. Prior to adoption of the agenda, is there any new business? Councillor? Not seeing any. Adoption of the agenda, please.
Motion to adopt.
Okay. All those in favor? Okay. So minutes of the regular council meeting held on December the 8th, 2025.
Second.
Any omissions? Staff? Council? Okay. Okay. Vote on the motion. All those in favor? Carried. We have no delegations, bylaws, committee report, and liaison reports. I guess we'll start the year off with welcome to 2026 council and staff. Thank you very much for 2025. It was very, I guess, interesting with what went on across the borders when we felt a little bit disturbed by what went on with our economy. For this year, I'm most optimistic on what we look forward to in the new year. Mayor and council, along with staff, we'll do our utmost to achieve the best results for Chetwynd. The year of 2025 brought us hope, and it gave us a tariff. So, which put the brakes on many imports and exports, especially export products that we sent to the United States from BC. It also caused less travel to the US because of immigration policies in the US. And here in BC, we had our own setbacks with continued closures and diversions in our health care. In 2025, the BC government invested $4.2 billion towards health system capacity, including major hospitals down south in Surrey, St. Paul's, and the BC Cancer Center. But this still does not alleviate our problems with diversions in the Peace region. But this does, and the closures on the weekends, and our ER's closure in Tumbler Ridge after hours and weekends. It was totally shocking to hear this. We all have friends and family in Tumbler Ridge that we worry about. And we have people in the community that work, they go to school, and if they're not accessible to an ER at that moment of, I guess they call the golden hour, that we need to be able to travel an hour either here or to Dawson Creek. And for some instances, it was, you had to go to Fort St. John. So that's quite a trip for somebody that needs emergency care. We still need to work where we play, and one of the industries that stands out among us is the softwood industry. Canfor closing and the West Fraser curtailing its production for the last year or so. The position I believe is critical that we support our softwood industry. And I understand the renewable resource always being softwood, not oil, not natural gas, not coal, but the forest and the trees that provides for communities like Chetwynd. The natural resources should be for the residents that have chosen to live here and for all that depend on the work and the job security to enjoy where we live. With responsible handling of the resources, we will be better stewards of the land. When you can count 38 to 50 loaded logs going through the pass, going to Prince George, I stopped counting after 38. I assumed there was probably more than that I passed. So there is fiber here that is being exported out of our region. Just another question that we need answers from our BC government. And as I noted in the opening of our meeting, my condolences go out to the families who have lost loved ones. And we never forget, and we will never forget the memories and lives that they have lived. God bless. Hi. And is there any other reports, liaisons? Councilor,
Okay, bear with me. I've got a lot to get through. So first I want to acknowledge Katie Mercer. I was unable to be here on the day that she spoke about her layoff. I just want to sincerely thank her for her many contributions to the community. She was always positive, informed, and a pleasure to work alongside, and I wish her every success in her next chapter of her career. Message from Peace FM. Peace FM and Chet TV are currently working with a new marketing manager on strategic planning to guide the future direction of both platforms. They have welcomed a new staff member, Angel Precipio. I hope I said that right. Our multimedia journalist who will be covering local news events across radio, television, and social media. Their goal is to strengthen their presence in community and encourage local organizations, businesses, and community groups to partner with them to promote programs and events. Chetwynd continues to demonstrate strong community pride, and Peace FM and Chet TV are committed to sharing that strength locally and beyond. They are grateful for the district's ongoing support and remind communities that sponsorships and event coverage opportunities are always available. And their bingo program resumes February 5th. Their AGM was held on November 27th and has a strong board moving into 2026. Little Prairie Heritage Museum has had a very successful year marked by strong community engagement and growth. Highlights include participation in the Harvest Fest and a Christmas parade, hosting field trips, launching new rentals, completing a reading room, investing in new picnic tables that were built locally, updating their branding through community voting, and received approval for a geocache site that continues to attract visitors. They are preparing for a mural restoration with the CSS students, a 2026 grand opening, membership drive, and community barbecue. Additional improvements include seed grant funding for flowers, updates to the BC rail car, and expanded youth engagement initiatives. They look forward to another successful and connected year ahead. I would like to address a recent interview posted by our MLA, Larry Neufeld, on social media regarding Chetwynd Voices. I feel that this interview reflected a single perspective that does not represent the community as a whole and contained statements that I believe were inaccurate. In particular, were comments suggesting a lack of council effort regarding NIFAC were deeply upsetting. Council has repeatedly and consistently advocated for both publicly and privately for NIFAC to return to Chetwynd, and it has been one of Council's highest priorities. Having personally witnessed this advocacy at council and in other tables, I feel strongly that portraying otherwise is incorrect. Pardon me, as community advocates and political leaders, we have a responsibility to ensure that information shared publicly is accurate, balanced, and verified, and to consider whether a public message contributes to solutions or creates further division. Opinions are not facts, and inaccurate statements can fuel conflict rather than strengthen community trust. And finally, and this is, I'm asking you guys for your input, I would like to raise the issue of permanent winter transit options in Chetwynd, particularly for seniors and persons with disabilities. While this winter may have been a bit of an anomaly with the cold weather, it has highlighted a significant gap that affects people from accessing medication, groceries, and essential services. I believe winter transit is emergent and a necessary community resource, and I'd like to ask Council for guidance, information, and suggestions how we may revisit this issue, whether it be a collaboration with community organizations, BC Transit, or exploring additional funding opportunities to ensure community members are supported during future winters.
Any other reports? And
So I just have a question. Yep. Was that Larry Newfield said that we weren't lobbying enough for the, huh?
I know we all did it, but Julie was very loud in her support for my fact, and I think that was a misrepresentation.
He said. I didn't see it. Thank you.
I'll resend it around, but it was sent last week.
I'm certain the high level that he sits at, he should fact check everything. So, you know, if he's posting stuff on his website, then good for you for calling him out, because this needs to be called out when the facts are not factual. He needs to be able to fact check the background of what went on there. Councillor Hunt?
I actually really want to write him a letter. If we could do that as a council after you guys watch it, and ask him to either remove it or correct it with facts.
That's definitely a possibility, yep. Staff?
I'll prefer a draft. I'll resend it because it looks like not everybody got the link for some reason. I'm not sure. We had some computer issues over the last week, so I'll see if I can get it out to everybody again, and then once I hear back from council, I'll write up a draft and send it around.
And as for the other one, Councillor Hunt, is that we need probably motion or direction to staff, and they will put it in the form of motion or just directed towards council for the transit. Yes, I believe we had transit on our radar in the past, and it just didn't pan out. But if we do revisit that, it would be great.
I can provide a report that kind of updates where we're at. It basically, it always comes down to funding. Transit is enormously expensive. You see local communities like Dawson Creek and Port St. John with a much larger rider numbers are actually pulling back services. We're always looking for grants. We had the grant that we were using, it was for, I think, 3 years for seniors coming into town from neighboring communities. And we've used that all up, but I know that staff are still looking. But I'll provide a report that updates where we're at currently. For what it's worth, I agree with Councillor Hunt. It's a need for this community. We don't have a really consistent public transit service, and I think it would really benefit the community.
I'm happy to write weekly letters to BC Transit or whoever you tell me needs to hear this, because I would really like to create that and get that going for next year.
Councillor Dawson?
I think public transit, even if it's a weekly bus that circulates to the old folks' homes and to anybody else who gets on the list, would be really valuable. I sit on the NDIT Northeastern RAC, and I think that there's funding available. From what I've seen, it seems like it fits that criteria. So if staff, I know staff is already working on it, but if we can get that going before the cold snap and the snow is gone, I think it'll be a big deal. Thanks. Thanks for bringing that up.
Any other questions? Any other reports? Okay, accept reports as.
Motion to receive.
Okay. Vote on the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Correspondence. Letter from the Eclipse LLP dated December 23rd, 2025. District of Chetwynd interim audit.
Motion to receive?
Any discussion? Councillor McDonald?
I'm wondering if the Director of Finance would be able to speak to the minor issues that were discussed during the audit process.
CFO?
I don't personally recall any minor issues right at the moment. They leave that kind of line in there just as a coverall. The interim audit was very clean and have no problems to worry about. I can follow up with them. There may have been some small thing, but I don't remember any discussion around one.
Just a follow-up question, CFO. Is there any issues that we had in the past that you know of since your term has been with doing our finances?
The only thing outstanding right now is the asset retirement obligations that we still have to get into play for this year's audit. So,
Thank you. Okay. We got a motion. There's no more questions. All those in favor? Okay, we've got correspondence from the Chetwynd Secondary School. Senior boys volleyball team. Support for the 2025 provincial championship.
motion to receive.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Councillor Nelson?
I'll send kudos out to the Chetwynd boys volleyball team because they really did make it this year. I don't think the club has gone provincial in many years. I've seen Chetwynd banners for #1 in our province in years past, so it goes to show that we do have the potential here, and I think the momentum is building, and these guys came in, I think it says 13th in the province, which isn't bad, and they made it, and we funded them, and I'm really happy that we did that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Motion, I guess. Was it a motion or was it just a support? Good. We'll vote on the motion. All those in favor? Okay. Good stuff. Okay, information items. I-1 to I-9, is there any that needs to be pulled, council? Discussion? Okay. Make motion.
Motion to receive I-1 through I-9.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay. Reports for action. RA1, Minerals North Conference and Trade Show registration.
Should I motion that all members of council be authorized to be registered for the 2026 Minerals North Conference and Trade Show in Smithers, BC, May 6th through 8th, 2026?
Any discussion? Vote on the motion. All those in favor? Carried. RA2, North Central Local Government Association Annual General Meeting and Conference or Convention registration.
I'll move that all members of council be authorized to be registered for the 2026 North Central Local Government Association Annual General Meeting and Convention to be held in Prince George, BC, May 20th to 22nd, 2026.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Carried. RA3, Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference and Trade Show Registration.
Make the recommendation that council authorize 2 members of council to attend the 2026 Federation of Canadian Municipalities FCM Annual Conference and Trade Show in Edmonton, Alberta, June 4th to 7th, 2026.
Any discussion?
I would,
No?
oh, sorry, I mean, I would suggest that we would allow more than, I guess it says 2 members of council, I'm assuming it's mayor plus a member of council. I would suggest that we allow at least 2 members of council to attend, since it is as close as Edmonton this year, as well as our mayor. So I'd like to add 1 more person to that. I did attend last year. I found it extremely valuable to meet with municipalities, not just from our province, but from our entire country. And the type of networking that gets done when you get to, reach your voice all the way across Canada is really quite incredible.
Any, I guess, is it, we need an amendment or, okay, make the amendment, Councillor.
I'd like to amend the motion to state that council authorize 2 members of council as well as mayor to attend the 2026 FCM in Edmonton, June 4 through 7, 2026.
I need a second. Okay, discussion on the amendment.
With it being as close as it is, if there are no other restrictions to how many people can be registered for this particular conference, it would be nice for anybody that would want to go be able to go from council. I would go as far as saying if everyone wanted to go.
Are you making an amendment to my amendment?
Depends on how many people want to go. 3 may be sufficient.
Okay, we've got one amendment that we're discussing, and that's 3. So it would be up to the amended one to make that designation, whether she wants it changed or not. This is something that we're discussing, or we could defeat it, the amendment, and have another amendment. How do you feel, Councillor Nelson? Okay, go ahead.
I think because we're missing 2 councillors, can we just open it up that everybody who wants to go from council could go, because it is a great opportunity. It may only mean that 3 people go, but at least we could have a pretty strong representation to be there if more people wanted to go from council.
Still, it's up to the amender that if she's open to that, to change the amendment. If not, then we have to deal with the amendment.
So I need to amend my amendment then, correct?
Or retract it and then make the amendment of all.
Very well, I will retract my amendment, and I will move that council authorize all council members as well as mayor to attend the 2026 FCM Annual Conference and Trade Show in Edmonton, Alberta, June 4 through 7, 2026.
Okay, and the seconder was for the first amendment. Okay, so you're good with that? Okay, okay. Any other discussion on the amendment? Okay, we're going to make all those in favor of the amendment. The amendment is carried. And now with the amendment on the motion to attend the FCM in Edmonton. All those in favor? Carried. And opposed? Carried. All right. Reports for information. December accounts payable checklist.
Motion to receive R11.
Second.
Discussion on it? Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, the only question I had was in regards to a Northern Legendary Construction. Their name has been brought up for the last 2 roles, and we have been paying them large sums of money because they're redoing the lift station. So another couple $100,000 this last month. Are we done paying for that project, or is there more coming?
As far as we know, that should be the final payment. There is a small amount of work outstanding, but we're probably going to end up doing that in-house for what it's worth rather than contacting Northern Legendary. So that project, as far as we know, is closed.
And was it all within budget as planned?
Northern Legendary's portion of the project was within budget.
Any other questions? Okay, on the motion? In favor? Okay, carried. Building permits values.
Motion to receive R1 sheet.
Any discussion on it? Okay. Councilor McDonald?
For, say, for example, November, there is nothing recorded in the table, but there was demolition of the mobile home. I'm just curious, was there just no permit costs associated with those line items that had some, like there's something written for the month, but there was no figure in the table?
I'll have to look into that, but I do believe the district paid for that building permit, and so that would be why.
So the number was 312 and 50. Is that what you, in November? Where are you at, Councillor? Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, any other questions? Staff, we're good? Okay. All those in favor? Okay. Yeah, there was no new business to proceed with, so at this time, I would like to invite the public for questions that we had on our, pertaining to our agenda. If there's any public, state your name and address and give us your question. If there isn't any, we will conclude our meeting. Adjournment. All those in favor? Carried.